Now children, when you look at the southern portion of the map of India, you can say that this portion is the portion that we are referring to, and it extends till this portion over here. So this is the entire northern plains of India extending up to the Brahmaputra river in the east. Okay children, so over here we have some very important rivers, like we have the Ganga river, we have the Yamuna river, we have the Gomti river, okay, and a lot of tributaries of these. Okay, over here we have the Brahmaputra. Okay children, so very important river Brahmaputra is also there. So this entire extent, entire stretch is known as your Ganga-Brahmaputra, not exactly delta, but the basin. Okay, so delta is something else which we already know and we are going to also understand in detail. But over here, we ought to understand that this entire stretch is known as your Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin. Okay children, so it is located in the Indian subcontinent. It includes, we already know it's there in the Indian subcontinent, meaning maybe a little bit of Bangladesh is also included. So that is why we are saying Indian subcontinent and not only India. It includes the areas of Sundarban, Ganga and Brahmaputra, plains, the mountains, foothills of Himalayas, Ganga and Brahmaputra valleys. Now children, you already know that now over here it's written that a lot of oxbow lakes are present in the plain area. Now what exactly happens is, when suppose when we're talking about a river, children, when a river is coming out from a mountain, we already know that it is traveling with a lot of velocity. It is very fast. Now what exactly happens, this is the first stage of the river. So when it is coming out from the mountains, it is the first stage of the river. Slowly when it enters the plains, it becomes gains in volume, it deposits a lot of silt, okay, on the banks. Okay, so alluvial plains are deposited, and what exactly happens, children, is that the river becomes slow and sluggish. So this is the second stage of the river. Now when it is about to meet the sea over here, this is the third stage. Things like delta formation take place, children. Okay, so this is a delta which forms and the river goes and meets its sea or ocean, whatever the case may be. So this is a feature which is known as a delta. So generally when the river is going and meeting the Bay of Bengal, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, all of these rivers are meeting over there and they are forming the very huge delta. Okay, one of the biggest deltas of the world, so which is known as the Sundarban Delta. So this is something which you ought to remember as well, children, because Sundarban Delta is a very, very unique delta which has a very unique vegetation type and also unique animals. Okay, which we are going to talk about a little later. But over here we are trying to talk about the how oxbow lakes are forming. Now over here in the middle area, what happens is when the river is flowing like this, slowly and steadily, what happens? The bends the river increases. Okay, and what may happen is that a small lake kind of a structure may get separated because of this formation, and ultimately what happens, children, is that these features or lakes, small lake like features are formed, which are known as your oxbow lakes. Okay children, so yes, it is definitely located in the Indian subcontinent. It includes areas of the Sundarban, the Ganga Basin, Brahmaputra Basin, Yamuna Basin. All of these areas are included, which you are now very clear about. Also children, you ought to understand whenever you have to think about the oxbow lakes, you have to first visualize the other elements, the other features formed by the river. So you have to understand that as it is having a beginning, it is starting off from the mountains. What exactly is happening is it is slowly and steadily moving into the plains and then going and meeting the sea, where generally the deltas are being formed. Okay children, so this is something that you have to keep in mind, all of you. Okay, so meander, sedimentary deposits, slowly and steadily this breaks off and a oxbow lake is formed. Okay everybody? Okay, so I hope this is very clear in your minds now. Okay children. Now children, when we look at the weather and climate of this particular region, we know that it's generally extremes of weather is experienced in this part of India. You know, it's very hot and it's also very cold. Also monsoon has a lot of impact on this area. So there are certain things that you have to keep in mind.